Welcome to our Devos this week, where we are talking about something called the Beatitudes. What's a Beatitude? All it is a statement of blessing made by Jesus concerning his followers. It's not a temporary state of being that we're happy and we get a windfall. No. A beatitude is simply Jesus saying that this person is blessed and there's a reason for it. So today, let's look at another one of those reasons, okay? And this one is the most difficult to navigate in our lives, okay? Matthew chapter 5, verse 10. Jesus said, "Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." Okay? There's two different nuances of persecution that Jesus mentions, the last of which we'll deal with tomorrow. But today, this one is for righteousness' sake. Now remember, what does this mean, okay? This doesn't just mean persecuted in and of itself, by itself. He's talking about persecuted for righteousness' sake. I want to tell you that if you're connected to Jesus and you are really taking serious your stance with God, there's going to be a time when you are going to do something that is different than those around you. There's things that you're going to do that shows that your behavior and your worldview is vastly different from those that are living alongside you, okay? And when people say, "Oh, I can't believe that you did this. I can't believe you won't do this," then you are being persecuted for righteousness' sake. Now, a lot of times people confuse this with just being persecuted in and of itself. But I would dare say as a Christian, this doesn't occur as much as you might think it does. I'll give you a small example, and this is so small. And I don't even consider it being persecuted for righteousness' sake, but it's just a very just small spectrum of this. Those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake would be like somebody that is, when I worked for a bank downtown for a couple years, two different banks. And there was a group of men that were on a regular basis every lunch or every couple days at lunch, they would go to a gentleman's club, which I don't know why they would be called a gentleman's club, because I don't really imagine a gentleman going there, okay? But you know what happens in those places, okay? And there were a couple of them downtown. So every single day, or every single time they would go, a large group of them would go, and they would always invite me, okay? So I had just become a Christian, and I knew that this was wrong, okay? So some people are non-Christians, and they think that this is wrong, and I would agree. But I remember saying, I'm just not, I don't want to go there. And I didn't tell them that they shouldn't go there. I just said, I'm not going to go there. Well, this really caused a big problem with people that I worked with, because they're like, well, that's really stupid. What do you think? You're better than people? You think you're this? And I'm like, no, I just don't want to elect to go there. I don't want to do this. And I really had a hard time with these guys because of that. And eventually they left me alone. But here's what I kind of want to drill home with us a little bit. Your life should look differently than those around you. When it comes to sin, when it comes to your view of what's right and what's wrong, there should be something different about you. And the problem with Christians in this day and age, we all have a tendency to say, well, we kind of want to be like everybody else's. I mean, we want to be close to people, we want to be relevant, and all those things might be true, but the fact remains, you need to look differently. And if you look differently, if you're doing something, if you're following the Spirit of God in something that He tells you shouldn't do, there's a very good chance you might end up being persecuted for righteousness' sake. But again, remember, it's for righteousness' sake. Tomorrow, we're going to really hit this point home and explain how Jesus goes a little bit further with it. But remember, when you are persecuted, it's a statement of blessing. That means that you are connected to God. That means that this is a good thing. That means that you're on the right side of history, that you're doing the right thing. And don't lose sight of that. It's a statement of blessing. And if you're doing this, you are blessed.